Good morning, girls. In the last lecture, we learned what is RMI and the difference between RMI and CORBA. Remote Message Interface. The full form of RMI is Remote Message Interface. Then we had gone with the steps of RMI application, means how to create RMI application. Here you can see the simple steps of RMI application. Let us revise it fast. Number 1, define a remote interface. Second, implementing remote interface. Step number 3 is create and start remote application. And step number 4, create and start client application. Today we are going to learn how to create RMI application practically and how to run that application through command prompt. Here you can see the steps to run the RMI application, but before we start how to learn how to run the RMI application, let us create one application through Jcreator window. You can take any help of any editor like Jcreator, or you can even use Notepad and NetBeans as well, right? Here, for the sake of simplicity, I am going to use Jcreator as an editor. Open your Jcreator window and start doing one program. Here you can see the coding is already there. Let me increase the size of font. So here the first line is import java.rmi.start. As I told you that you have to create a blank interface for RMI application. So here it is. It is very simple to create interface. It must be declared as a public. અહીંયા તમારે એક વસ્તુ નોટિસ કરવાની છે, જે પણ ઇન્ટરફેસ ક્રિએટ કરો એને આપણે પબ્લિક ક્રિએટ કરશું. પબ્લિક ઇન્ટરફેસ. The name of interface is remote message, which extends from remote class, right? This class is inbuilt class. Now inside the interface we will create one method only. Again, for the sake of simplicity, here we are going to create only a single method with name greeting message. Public. The return data type is string. The name of method is greeting message, which throws remote exception. That's it. These is the content of our interface, right? So here you can see that only 3 lines are here, and this file is stored with name remote message. As we have learned in the step, our first step is to define a remote interface is over. Now implementation of this interface. For the second step, let us switch back to Jcreator window. Here we will create one implementation of interface. Here you can see the window remote message implementation, and the code is import java.rmi, import java.rmi server. As we have already discussed that we have to import RMI package as well as RMI.server package, right? Now public class remote message implement. This is a name of our interface which extend unicast remote object and implements remote message. Let me break down this line and take this line on the next line. As we have already discussed that remote message implement, this is a class which implements the remote message interface, which always extends the unicast remote object. Here you can see that the unicast remote object is extended, and this class implements the remote message interface which we have recently created. Now public remote message implement this is an empty constructor, right? Then we will give a body to greeting message method over here in this class, public string greeting message, which returns welcome stub. This is our message. Greeting message method, this is declared in remote message interface, right? As all of you are aware of the structure of interface, here we just give a prototype to our method, and the body we define inside the implemented class. So here you can see the body of this method. Here just I have written a one string, nothing else, return welcome stub. Now in the next step we will create and start remote application. For that we will create a server, right? So you have to create one more method with name remote message server. Where my pointer is moving, you can see that one more file we have created with name remote message server. Let us see the coding of this file. Import java.rmi.star, import java.rmi.server. These two packages are required to create a server. Now create one class with name remote message server. Public class remote message server will define a main method inside this class, public static void main and string args. As we have discussed in the previous lecture, that we have to call a rebind method. Rebind method, line number 11, observe this line. Line number 11 observe करो. અહીંયા अगर rebind method આપણે use કરી છે. Remote message implements message equals to new remote message implement. અહીંયા આપણે message name થી એક object create કર્યું છે. remote message implement classનો એક object create કર્યો છે. Here we will provide a URL for registry, RMI registry. Naming.rebind method, this method is inbuilt method, and we will provide the URL of RMI registry. RMI://localhost:1099, and the object name is remote message service. આપણે આ જે ટર્મ છે જે મેં સિલેક્ટ કરાવી છે એને RMI રજિસ્ટ્રીની અંદર રજિસ્ટર કરાવીએ છીએ. એન્ડ we are going to bind this object with name MSG. So later on we can find this object with name MSG. remote message service ને આપણે MSG name થી RMI રજિસ્ટ્રીની અંદર સર્ચ કરાવશું. So this is a coding of server application, right? Now here we will give a message through system.out.println. The message is server started. With the help of this message we'll come to know that our server is running now, right? That's it. Catch block, here remote exception, you can define an object of remote exception class and print a message, appropriate message. Our message is problem with server launching, if any. In case of error, this will print a message problem with server launching, right? And exception E class for default message, you can create this catch block also, e.print status no message. This will print an inbuilt message. One more time, naming.rebind method, this method is important for this application, server application, where we will provide a URL for RMI registry and the object which will be known as the selected object name, right? MSG. Now fourth step is to create a client application. For that, again switch back to Jcreator window. Here one more application is defined with name remote message client. Create one public class with this name, with the same name. Here also we will import these two packages, java.rmi and java.rmi.server. Inside this class we will define a main method, public static void main. Here we will create one object of remote message. Okay, this is already registered in RMI, right? So here you can create an object of this interface. Now string name equals to RMI / localhost 1099 remote message service. Notice this URL. We have already used this URL in our server application. Here it is. You have to take the same URL, right? We have used the same URL in our client application. Now we will use the lookup method for searching into RMI registry. For searching the registry, message equals to remote message naming dot lookup method. Lookup method, this method will search the RMI registry for this name. Which name? Here the URL stored in name. The lookup method will search for this URL in RMI registry. Now system.out.println, we will call that method. Which method? Which is declared in remote message interface and defined in remote message implement class greeting message through this object. This will return a string as an output, and the output will be printed through system.out.println method, right? So let us see how to execute the whole RMI application. For that, switch back to the steps to run this RMI application. First of all, save all the above Java files into a directory, name it as RMI. Here we have created 4 different applications. What you have to do is just store this application in a folder named RMI. Then compile all the Java files with javac command, javac start.java. For that, what you have to do, you have to open a command prompt. Here on the screen you can see that. Let me implement practically as well. For that, we will start command prompt window. We are on the command prompt window. Our program is stored in F drive. So first of all, move to the F drive. Now giving cd command, open Oracle folder, then open RMI folder. In this folder, all the files are stored. We'll compile all the files together using javac command, javac star.java. Before compilation, open my computer, go to F drive. Here you will find the Oracle folder, inside it RMI and program number 2. Here you can see all the files are stored, right? Minimize this window. Now change the directory to prg2. Here all the Java files are stored. Now you can compile all the Java file using javac command, javac star.java. For compilation of all the files together, what you have to write is javac star.java and press enter. All the files are compiled. જો એની અંદર એરર નહીં હોય તો બધી જ ફાઇલ છે એ કમ્પાઇલ થઈ જશે, right? Here you can see that javac star.java and press enter. We got nothing as an output, so here we can consider that all the files are properly compiled. Fine. Now switch back to our document. What is next step? Next step is to start RMI registry. How to start RMI registry? For that, again move back to your command prompt and type start RMI registry. Here we will type start RMI registry. Observe that I have not given a space between RMI and registry. Both words you have to write together. No space is required between RMI registry. Here also you can observe in the document start, then space, RMI registry, these two words together, no space between these two, RMI registry, registry, and press enter. This will open a new window on your screen. Just minimize this window and keep it open. Don't close it. We have just started the RMI registry, right? By giving a command start RMI registry and press enter. This will open a new window on your screen. Just minimize this window. Okay. Now next step is to run the server file. For that we will type Java keyword and then name of our file. Go back to command prompt. Here we will write Java space. For that you have to recall the name of server file. Here the name of our server file is remote message server. Let us confirm the name of file. Click the Jcreator. Here you can see that remote message server, R, M and S. These three letters are in capital. Remote message server. Don't give an extension. તમને લોકોને જાવાની ફાઇલ કેવી રીતે રન કરવાની યાદ હશે. અહીંયા રન કરવા ટાઈમ પર આપણે એક્સટેન્શન આપતા નથી. And press enter. You will get a message on the screen. Server started. As we have printed this message through system.out.println. See here you can see this selected line, right? We got this message through this method. Fine. Now what is next? Next step is to run the client file. To run a client file in another command prompt. For that we will open one more command prompt window. In total we have opened 2 command prompt windows and 1 RMI registry. We'll change our directory to program number 2, right? wherever you store your files, you must open that path. Here I have stored my file in Oracle. Inside that RMI, inside that one more folder is there, that is prg2. So here my path is chain directory Oracle, then RMI and slash prg2 and press enter. Fine. Here our programs are stored. Now for running a client application, what we have to write is Java space the name of your client file. Here I have stored this client file with name remote message client. As you can see, remote message client. Okay, open your command prompt window, remote message client, and press enter. Here we got the output, greeting message equals to welcome stub. So our RMI application is run, right? Let me show you all the steps one more time. Close all the windows. Here you can see that our application is open. What we have done, we have created 4 files. First of all, interface. Step number 1 is to create an interface. Then in second step, we'll provide a body to greeting message method by implementing this interface. Here it is, remote message implement class is declared, and greeting message, the method greeting message is defined over here. Now the third step is to create a server. Here we are not attached with any other computer. We are working on a single PC, right? Even you, whenever you create your file, you will also connect it with your on system. For that, here we have write a localhost 1099. If you connect in network, if you are in network, then you can give an appropriate IP address of a particular system. અહીંયા આપણે જે પણ સર્વર સાથે અટેચ કરવાનું હોય, નેટવર્કમાં કનેક્ટ કરવાનું હોય, તો કોઈપણ કમ્પ્યુટરનું IP એડ્રેસ આપી શકીએ. Through that we can connect, we can run our application somewhere and we can create our application somewhere. તો જે નેટવર્કનો કન્સેપ્ટ છે એ સોલ્વ થાય છે, રાઈટ? બટ હિયર વી આર ડીલિંગ વિથ અ સિંગલ સિસ્ટમ. We are running our program in our local host. That's why I have given localhost 1099. Otherwise, if you are attached in network, you can replace this address with any particular IP address. So this is our third step. Then in the fourth step, we will create one client application which will search in RMI registry for a particular object, right? And then we will call the method which are declared in our interface with the help of object of this class. Here you can see that message is an object of remote message, and we will call the method with the help of this object, message dot greeting message. That's it. These are the 4 files. This is as simple as you are creating your Java program, but the difference is that here we have added the concept of network, server and client. Here our method is declared somewhere and we are calling this method from other application. Now let us see the steps how to run RMI application. First of all, you have to store all these applications, all these programs, Java code in a particular folder. Here I have stored this program in F drive. Inside the F drive, the folder is Oracle. Inside it, RMI and program number 2. You can see all these 4 files, right? Now first of all, what you have to do is to open command prompt window, move to the particular folder, F drive, change the directory. For that I will write cd oracle inside it RMI and prg2. Right, this is our path. Now compile all the Java files using javac command, java star.java. Our next step is to start RMI registry. Start RMI registry. As I told you, no space between these two words, RMI and registry. This will open a new window. Just minimize that window. Now run your server file by giving a java command, java, and the name of file is remote message server. Press enter. Server is started. Now minimize this window and open one more command window. Again choose an appropriate folder, F:. Next is now run your client file, java. The name of file is remote message client, and press enter. You will get the output on the screen. Here the output is welcome stub. Let us create one more program. Right, now close all these windows. We'll just keep open Jcreator only. Inside it, close our first program. Right, now I have already created 5 programs, as you can see in the list. The coding is very simple, that's why I have already created this program. Now first of all, interface. As you can see that here the name of method is different, otherwise all the coding is same as the previous one. Import java.rmi.star. This package is required. Then public interface, add server interface, which extends remote class, which is an inbuilt class. Here we will declare a method with name sum, which will return a one integer type value, and which is accepting 2 parameters of type integer A and integer B, which can throw a java.rmi.remote exception in case of an error. Now step number 2 is to define a class which implements this interface. Right, import java.rmi.star, import java.rmi.server. These 2 packages are required. Even you can import java.rmi.registry. Now public class adder, which extends unicast remote object, implements add server interface. Here public adder throws java.rmi remote exception super. This will call a super class. Then public integer sum, integer A, integer B will provide the body. Will provide the body to this method over here. This will do the addition of these 2 variables, nothing else, A plus B, and this will return a value to the that class where from where this method will be called. Right, so here we will provide the body. This coding is exceptional. You can even remove this part. Right, Now just do this coding and do the addition of these two values. Now in the third step we will create a server. Here you can see the coding of server application. Import java.rmi, import java.rmi registry, public class add server, public static void main method. In the line number 8, we'll create one object of add server interface class. Add server interface A equals to new adder. A is an object of this class. Now we will rebind the add service class with RMI registry by giving an URL of that class. Here you can see that naming.rebind, the URL of this class is rmi://localhost 1099 add service. As I explain you, here you can change the IP address of any computer if you want to deal with server and client concept, right? We are going to find add service object through A in RMI registry. That's it. This is a coding of server application. Now last is client application. Client application, here we will call that method sum method. Import java.rmi, public class client, public static void main is our main method. Now lookup method. Always you will find a lookup method in your client application. Here also you can see that we have used the lookup method in our program. Add server interface st equals to add server interface naming.lookup rmi://arg0 add service. You can pass the address of any computer through argument also, or even you can replace this argument 0 with our local host ID, which we have used in the add server, right? You can replace the whole term. This is your second program. So here we are taking the static string instead of the argument, right? Localhost 1099. If you are going with this method argument 0, then you have to pass the argument, first argument, as localhost colon 1099 as our 0th argument, right? But here this is your second program, so we have taken the static string instead of the argument. Now call the sum method through the object of add server interface like this st.sum, and two integer values will be passed to this method 25,8, right? This method will return an addition of these two values. Let us run this application. So for that, open your command prompt window, F drive, Oracle, inside it RMI and PRG3. Press enter. Now compile all the Java files using javac command. start.java, press enter. Now start RMI registry. Minimize this window. Start the server. The server name is add server java add server and press enter. This will start a server, right? Why the message is not shown? Because in this file we have not taken any message, so it is not showing the message. Now minimize this window and open one more command prompt window. Oracle RMI and PRG3. Now run your client file java client. Here you can see the result java client, and the addition is 33. Fine. So this is all about the RMI programs. In total, I have created total 5 programs of RMI. Let me show you the coding of all these files. Program number 4. Here I have find the area of, let us see, program number 4. For interface, we will start. Area is a name of an interface, right? Area of circle, area of triangle, area of square. Here I have declared 3 methods. In area implement class, we will provide the body to all these methods: area of circle, area of triangle, and area of square. In server file, as we have done in the previous 2 programs, just provide the URL of our main application with the help of naming.rebind method, and the last file is our client file, where we will create an object of area interface, right? And with the help of naming.lookup method, we will find the object, and then we will call all the methods over here: d.area circle, d.area triangle, and d.area square. We'll get the areas of circle, triangle, and square through this application. One more program is defined over here to find the prime numbers. Prime is an interface file, right? Here only the one method is declared, check, which is accepting one parameter of type integer. Then to implement this interface, prime implement, here we will provide the body to our method, check method. આપણે અહીંયા prime non prime નો પ્રોગ્રામ કરેલો છે, right? તો logic of that program, all of you have already done the logic of that program in C, C++, even in Java, right? So this is the repetition of that coding. Check method, number is not prime, number is prime. number is not prime and number is prime. This method will either return number is not prime or number is prime. Now server definition, as we have done in the previous 3 programs. Okay, and in the 4th program we will just call this method d.check and integer.parse integer. As all of you are aware of this parse integer method, this will convert our first argument from string to integer value, right? For that I have used the parse integer method. Here we don't want to pass a static value. Instead of, I want to pass the different values every time. Whenever I run the file, I want to pass the different values. For that I have taken integer dot parse integer and argument number 0. So these are the 5 programs you have to note down in your journals, right? Let we stop our discussion here. In the next session we will start Servlet, and before we start Servlet I will post the remaining 3 programs to your CR, and from her you can get all these programs. Okay, so next time be ready for next chapter, that is Servlet. Thank you.